Hi, I'm Don, 36, and 3 days ago, I became the family disgrace over pancakes, glitter, and one brutally honest comment under a Facebook photo. I wasn't always the villain in our family's story. I used to be the dutiful son. Paid the bills. Picked up the slack. Absorbed every slight like it was part of my job description. But something snapped this December. Not in a dramatic, breaking plates kind of way, more like a quiet, sharp click. The kind of snap that happens when you realize you've been cast as the background character in your own life. It started with a text. My mom's words hit my screen just as I was buckling my daughter into her booster. Don, after discussing with your father, we think it's best if you and the kids skip the year-end party. It's family only this time. Less drama. Family only? Less drama? My 5-year-old was humming the Jaws theme in the back seat. My 8-year-old sneakers were muddy. And I was staring at a message that told me, as gently as a hammer to the ribs, that we weren't family anymore. They didn't say it to my face. They never do. Everything in my family is wrapped in plausible deniability. It's about tone. You're so sensitive. The kids are just loud. Loud? They're kids. Loud is their native language. So we made our own party. Paper crowns. Pizza rolls. Glitter. My daughter picked the playlist, 5 songs, on repeat, like a squirrel DJ spinning for other squirrels. I smiled, I really did. Until I saw the photo. Mark had posted it, my brother in a cashmere sweater, grinning like the heir to a kingdom built on gaslighting. My parents. Cousins. My string lights still dangling from the ceiling, ones I put up last year. And that caption. Family only. No troublemakers. The way it hit? Like an ice pick to the ribs. Cold, small, precise. I didn't reply. Not yet. Just stared. Watched the likes pile up. Love this tribe. Gorgeous fam. Where's Don? One had asked. Mark replied. Probably writing drama. So I wrote a line. A simple comment. Just a sentence. Calm. Lethal. True. Congrats, Mark. Looks amazing. Since it's family, here's a family update. Mortgage, insurance, property tax, and interest of the heart are all yours now. I'm out. Then I put my phone down. Then I watched it buzz. Then I watched it burn. 10 minutes later, the post vanished. Like it had never existed. But the calls didn't vanish. They multiplied. 90 missed calls in less than an hour. Texts. Voicemails. Group chats lit up like a forest fire started with a family matchbook. It was the digital version of everyone pounding on my door while I locked the bolts from the inside. Mom. Don, delete that right now. You're humiliating us. Dad. This is not how adults behave. Mark. Bro, what are you doing? This isn't the place. Me. It literally is. You posted it. I replied. Then I dropped the receipts. Screenshots in the family chat. Not in the comments, this wasn't for public consumption. I wasn't feeding the spectators. Just the facts, dates. Amounts. Little memos I'd added like heater, root canal, ticket X3, Q3 shortfall, Christmas float. I didn't add snark. No arrows or captions. Just numbers and the word cleared. Mom, you love hurting me. You always have. Dad, what are you, a bank? This is family. Mark, numbers are wrong. Me, they're your numbers. Then silence. For 1 full hour. At 11:31 p.m., Dad posted a spreadsheet. Yes. A spreadsheet. The man opened Excel and created a tab called Expectations 2026. It had line items labeled Utilities, HOA, Netflix, and my favorite, Don projected monthly support. In bold. I replied the next morning after cutting pancakes into stars so my son would recognize them as food. Delete that tab. Delete the assumption. The group chat blew up again. Mom called. I answered this time. No, hello? No, how are you? Just, what was last night? Her voice was sharp, brittle, like she was trying to slice her way back into control. You humiliated your family. You humiliated me first. I said. You banned me and my kids from a party and called it family only. Mark captioned it no troublemakers. You liked it. You read too much into things. She snapped. I'm a screenwriter. I read what's on the page. She sighed. Don, this is complicated. It's not, I said. I'm not your ATM. I'm not your silent witness. I'm your son. And I'm a father. That means I have to model how to be treated. For them. You're being dramatic. No, I said. I'm being boring. I'm saying no. A beat of silence. Then the kicker. We'll pay you back. Good. I'll send a number. You can make payments like any other bill. On the 15th of every month. You'll zell it. If you're late, there's a fee. A fee? You charge interest on your own parents? You charged interest on my sanity. She sputtered. I waited for the phone to click dead, but it didn't. Instead, she cried. Quiet crying, the kind where the breath breaks but the voice keeps going. Measured pain. Practiced. Your father tried his best. She whispered. We just wanted you close. No, I said. You wanted me useful. That's different. You called me difficult. You faked a signature. And you know that wasn't okay. It wasn't forged. She snapped. It was copied. Same thing. He didn't want to bother you. She said. It bothered me anyway. I didn't yell. I didn't twist the knife. I just stood on the truth and let it carry weight. She finally said. Come by later. We'll talk. No, I said. You come here. At 2. No surprise relatives. No speakerphone. Another sigh. The surrender kind. Fine. At 2:05 p.m. they stood in my doorway like a delegation from a toppled empire. Mom holding a manila folder. Dad with a jaw so tight it looked welded shut. They scanned the apartment like they were looking for evidence that I needed their charity. Where are the kids? Mom asked, craning. With their mom, I said. On purpose. We sat. Dad put his hands on his knees. You've made your point. Good, I said, sliding 2 sheets across the table. Page 1, a 3-year ledger. Every dollar. Clear font. Totals at the bottom. Page 2, family operating agreement. My draft. Clean bullet points. Plain English. Mom read the title and immediately rolled her eyes. Oh, for heaven's sake. I kept going. Item 1. I'm not responsible for your mortgage, utilities, taxes, or any household expense. Item 2. You ask for help before the deadline. Not after. Item 3. If I say yes, we write a repayment plan. Item 4. My name doesn't appear on any legal document unless I'm present to sign it. Item 5. My children are not pawns. Don't exclude them to punish me. Mom pushed the papers back. We're not signing anything. You don't have to. I said. But these are the terms for interacting with me from now on. Dad scoffed. You think you can run the family like a writer's room? No, I said. But I can decide if I'm in the room at all. He scanned the ledger. Flinched at one number. This is exaggerated. It's not. Want the bank statements? No need to be disrespectful, he said. Respect is numbers plus behavior, I replied. The numbers say I've been covering. The behavior says you pretended I haven't. Mom shifted tactics. We're proud of you, she said. We brag about you all the time. Then stop mocking me when I'm not in the room. Right on cue, Mark texted, You're insane. Then come meet me. Now. I put the phone face down. Tell Mark to read the group chat, I said. I'm not meeting him in a parking lot so he can call me sensitive. Dad looked tired. Really tired. Like a man trying to keep a house of cards from falling in a wind tunnel. We didn't plan well, he muttered. We assumed you'd be around. I am around, I said. I'm just not on autopay. Mom reached into her folder and slid something across the table. A 3rd-grade card I'd made. Glitter, pencil scrawl. I will always help you because you are my mom and dad. You promise, she said. I stared at it. I was 8, I said. I also promised to become a pirate. Mom tried not to laugh. But she did. Just a little. It wasn't a breakthrough. It wasn't a healing montage. It was a start. The next morning, Mark showed up. Not at my door, he's not that brave. Instead, he texted nonstop until I agreed to meet him outside the cafe where we used to get bagels during college breaks. Neutral territory, his idea. It had rained that morning. The sky was still gray, like it hadn't decided if it was done crying. He was already there, pacing in front of a curbside table like a man who just learned someone else opened his mail. You made us look like leeches, he said without hello. You nuked the family chat. I sat down calmly. I showed numbers. You nuked your reputation. That's different. Come on, man. You know I was gonna pay you back. You've said that since 2019. He flinched. You're acting like a loan shark. We're family. Exactly, I said. So why are you treating me like a cash machine that broke? He pulled out his phone. You know how this looks? I have clients who follow me. People from my job. Then maybe don't caption photos "no troublemakers" when you've got 6K in trouble with me. Mark dropped his hands like he wanted to fight the wind. Bro, this is a public mess. You're throwing shame grenades and calling it growth. No, I said. I'm throwing up boundaries. If that's a mess to you, that says more about your floor plan. He laughed, sharp and bitter. You sound like therapy Twitter. And you sound like a kid who got grounded and doesn't understand why. Then he said it. Why do you care so much about control? Just admit it. You want everyone to live on your terms. You're not building boundaries. You're building a stage. That one got me. Because he wasn't entirely wrong. I am a screenwriter. I do outline scenes. And for too long, I thought if I wrote the right lines, people would deliver them. But real life doesn't take direction. You know what? I said steady. Maybe I was trying to keep the script tight. Maybe I was afraid if I didn't give you all a role, I'd get cut out of the cast. Mark leaned back, arms crossed. But now I've realized something. I went on. It's not my job to make this a coherent story. It's my job to protect the part one actually live. And if that makes me the villain in yours? Fine. Let the credits roll. He shook his head, laughed again, but this time quieter. Then, he reached into his coat pocket and slid something across the table. A folded envelope. Handwritten. My name on it. Don. What is this? I asked, suspicious. First payment, he said. 200. Friday. Like you said? I opened it. 2 crisp bills. Real. No memo, no sarcasm. Just cash. It felt heavier than money ever should. I'm not saying you're right, he added quickly. But I'm tired of being broke and proud. Maybe I start here. He stood up, shoved his hands into his coat pockets. You still suck at being chill. You still suck at paying people back. We didn't hug. Didn't shake hands. Just nodded. Progress, in our family, is always shaped like a flinch. Later that week, I got an unexpected text from my ex. The kids told me what happened. Are you okay? I replied. Yeah. Weirdly, yeah. It's quieter. That helps. She wrote back. I meant what you did. Standing up for yourself. I think it mattered more to them than you know. I stared at that message for a long time. Then I went to my daughter's school and watched her through the fence at recess. She was showing another kid how to tie a crown out of leaves and a shoelace. My son was pretending a swing set was a spaceship. Both were loud, wild, gloriously unfiltered. And I realized what scared me most about the family party wasn't the exclusion. It was the fact that, for a second, I believed them. Believed I was too much. That my kids were too loud, too messy, too inconvenient. But they're not. They're children. With feelings. With joy that explodes out of them like soda shaken too hard. And I'll be damned if I let anyone, family or not, teach them they have to shrink to be invited. 2 days later, my parents came back. Not to yell. Not to argue. This time, they brought something else. Apology, in installments. A grocery bag with fruit. A thank you card. A sticky note on a crumpled receipt that said, "We're starting." The card had no money. Just handwriting. We're not good at this. But we want to try. Mom. Inside the bag, strawberries, bananas, and one small tub of glitter glue. My daughter gasped when she saw it. Did Grandma send this? I nodded. Yeah. She looked thoughtful. Maybe she's sorry. Maybe she is. Can I forgive her? She asked. I smiled. Only if you want to. She blinked. I want to. And just like that, the world didn't fix, but it cracked a window. The glitter glue lived on top of the fridge for a week. My daughter called it forgiving glue. She explained it like this: it doesn't fix everything, but it helps hold stuff until you can talk better. Honestly, that might be the cleanest definition of reconciliation I've ever heard. My son, meanwhile, asked the real question. Is Grandma still mean? I crouched to his level and thought about it. She's learning, I said. She's been stuck in one way of doing things for a long time. He nodded solemnly, then handed me a banana with a bite already taken. Okay. This is for being brave. I took the banana. My life is measured in fruit and glitter now. Later that night, I sat at my desk with a glass of tap water and an open document titled, New Boundaries, Old People. It was a personal essay I didn't know if I'd ever publish. Just me talking out loud in typed paragraphs about how weird it is when your parents stop feeling like gods and start looking like people who just barely survive their own bad habits. I had written maybe 3 pages when my phone buzzed. Group chat, family, now lowercase. Dad. Updated trust draft. Reviewed with lawyer. No funny business this time. Please read. Attached was a PDF. I opened it expecting legalese I'd need 3 coffees to decode. But it was simple. My name had been removed entirely. No hidden lines. No forged loop signature. Then the kicker. Mom, a minute later. We'll handle our own taxes from now on. Just keep being a good dad. That's all we want from you now. I didn't respond right away. Not because I was mad. Because I didn't want to jinx it. Because part of me didn't believe it yet. I showed it to my daughter the next morning. This is from Grandma and Grandpa, I said. They're trying to fix the paper that said stuff about our house. She tilted her head. The fake paper? Yeah, I said. The fake paper. Did they get in trouble? Sort of, I said. But mostly they got told no. That's what made the difference. She nodded. Sometimes no is glue too. Kid was on a roll. Mark sent his second $200 on Friday. No memo this time. Just a clean payment. Saturday morning, I got a text from him. You free for a walk? No yelling. I swear. We met at a park halfway between our places. He brought iced coffee. I brought low expectations. He started talking immediately. No preamble. Turns out when you pay for things, people expect receipts, he said. I raised an eyebrow. I finally sat down with a spreadsheet, he continued. Like a real one. With tabs. Groceries. Gas. Streaming. Rent. I didn't even know how much my girlfriend was covering until I added it up. Scary, isn't it? I said. He nodded. I owe her an apology. I owe a lot of people apologies. I sipped my coffee. Don't apologize with your mouth. Apologize with a plan. He gave me a sideways look. You always talk like a podcast now. No, I said. Podcasts talk like me. He laughed. Then, I really didn't think you'd ever cut me off. You always folded. Yeah. I know. Was it the caption? He asked. Is that what broke you? I thought about that. The truth was, the caption didn't break me. It clarified me. Not really, I said. What broke me was realizing I was raising 2 kids inside a family that thinks boundaries are betrayal. He was quiet for a long time. Then, you think I can fix it? You're paying me back, I said. That's a start. Pay other people back, too. With money, with honesty, with less ego. He nodded slowly. I'm trying. Trying is good, I said. But eventually trying has to turn into doing. We parted without fanfare. No hug. Just a head tilt and a half smile. Brothers in armistice, not in harmony. 2 weeks later, the crowns were still taped to the fridge. Faded bent. Symbols of a night that hurt but didn't kill. A night that told the truth with glitter. That's when the email came in. Subject line. Don, would you ever write about this? It was from an old college friend who now produced podcasts. Apparently someone had seen my family update comment online, screenshotted it, and passed it around a little storytelling subreddit. People were talking. Quietly, anonymously, but with a kind of, oh my god, same energy that spreads fast in comment threads. I stared at the email. Would I write about this? Maybe. But not for drama. Not to drag anyone. I'd write it for the kid with muddy sneakers who hears they're too much. For the grown son who keeps swallowing rage because it's not worth the fight. For the daughters left off the invite list and the dads called difficult for asking questions. I'd write it plain. No flair. No twist ending. Just a man who finally asked, what if I stopped being easy to use? What if I wrote myself a better role? That night, my kids asked if we could make more crowns. I laid out new paper, new glue, new glitter. They worked quietly for once, heads bent, serious. After a while, my daughter looked up. Daddy? Yeah? What if we do get invited next year? Do we go? I looked at her. Her face was hopeful, careful. We decide that when it happens, I said. But if we go, it's because we're wanted, not tolerated. She nodded, then went back to gluing stars. Later, when I tucked her in, she whispered, I hope Grandma keeps learning. Me too, I said. But even if she doesn't, we're okay. We are. For real this time. I didn't expect peace to feel so quiet. No big reveal. No orchestral swell. Just a calm, consistent silence in my phone notifications where drama used to live. The family chat had settled into polite, lowercase exchanges, updates about Dad's doctor appointments, a blurry photo of a salad Mom was proud of, a thumbs up from Mark every few days. No. Don, can you send? No. Just a little help this month. No. Mark's in a bind, could you? Just nothing. And it was glorious. The third Friday came and went. Mark sent another $200. This time, he added a memo. Debt detox week 3. I almost smiled. Almost. Then, out of nowhere, a knock at my door. It was Mark. No text ahead of time. No preamble. He was holding a Target bag and a slightly sheepish expression. I got the kids some stuff, he said. Nothing big. Just, I dunno. Crowns. I took the bag. Inside, a sparkly art kit, new glue sticks, and a set of crayons labeled Royal Tones. He shifted on his feet. You don't have to say thank you. Just, I'm trying to show up better. I looked at him, the same brother who once called me a bank with a bad attitude. Now standing like a guy applying for a job he knows he's underqualified for. You want to come in? I asked. He hesitated, then nodded. Just for a bit. The kids were thrilled. They showed him their new crown archive, a shoebox filled with glittered paper bent into shapes that were somehow both crowns and spaceships, depending on the hour. Mark asked questions. He actually listened. My son climbed on him like a jungle gym within 10 minutes. My daughter made him a Prince of Apologies crown, which he wore like a man taking his medicine with a smile. When he left an hour later, he paused at the door. I don't expect to be the good guy again, he said. But I'm trying not to be the bad one either. Neither is the goal, I said. Just be real. He nodded. Hey, you ever think about letting Mom babysit again? I blinked. What? I mean, he said, scratching his neck. She's been different lately. Texted me last week asking how to set a reminder to call you. Said she didn't want to forget. That's new. I didn't answer. Not because I didn't want to, but because I didn't know yet. That Sunday, I got a text from Mom. Thinking of the kids. Let me know if they need anything for school. I typed and deleted 5 responses. Finally landed on. Thanks. They're good for now. We'll let you know. She replied with a heart emoji. It felt strange. Not bad. Just strange. Like walking into a room where the furniture's been rearranged. Later that night, I heard my daughter reading aloud from her own story. She had stapled notebook paper together and written something with backward NS and lots of exclamation points. It was titled, The Queen of Glitter Town Learns to Say Sorry. Plot summary, the Queen bans everyone from her party. Then the princess makes her a crown out of forgiveness glue. The Queen cries glitter. The end. My son gave it 5 stars. I gave her a hug. I wasn't sure if it was about Grandma. Maybe it was just about crowns. Or maybe she was writing what I'd been trying to live, her version of peace. That night, I added something to the fridge beneath the crowns. A list. Not rules this time. Not boundaries. Just 5 words in my handwriting. We are allowed to grow. No signature. No caption. Just truth. The first test came quicker than I expected. It was a text from Mom, of course. Short. Innocent on the surface. Could we borrow your car next weekend? Mark's is in the shop. Old me would have answered within 60 seconds. Explained that I needed it, maybe offered to Uber them somewhere instead, then sat with guilt for the rest of the day like a rock in my chest. But knew me? Boundaried me? I stared at the screen, then put the phone down and made a grilled cheese. I replied an hour later. Can't do it. I need the car that weekend. That was it. 10 words. No explanation. No alternative. No apology. She didn't reply right away. But when she did, it shocked me. Okay. Thanks for letting me know. No guilt. No snark. Just, okay. I showed the message to my daughter like it was a museum artifact. Grandma said okay. I told her. She squinted at the phone. She's learning. Yeah, I said. She might actually be. Then she asked, are you gonna write that down? I blinked. What do you mean? You write everything when it's important. I laughed. You're not wrong. So I did. I wrote it in the margins of a half-finished script. We're allowed to say no without offering a replacement. Because that was the difference now. Before, I used to say no like I was hosting a game show. Sorry, this prize isn't available, but here's what you could have. Now, I say no like an adult. A calm, respectful, firm adult. It doesn't need decoration. The following Friday, Mark's $200 came in again. Memo line this time. Week 4. Still here. No call. No text. Just steady progress in digital form. I left it unacknowledged on purpose. He didn't need applause. He needed practice. Then something weird happened. I started sleeping better. Like, noticeably better. Deep, solid, dream-filled sleep. Number 2A. M. Dread about bills or vague parental guilt. No imaginary arguments I replayed in the shower. Just rest. And that, more than anything, told me I was on the right track. Because you don't sleep well when your boundaries are weak. You sleep well when your life finally fits the shape of your values. A week later, I got a voicemail from my dad. No greeting. Just, Don, your mom made soup. There's extra if the kids want some. I almost didn't play it. But something about his voice made me hit replay. It sounded small. Not broken. Not dramatic. Just like a man who'd quietly realized his kingdom was built on IOUs and someone finally cashed them all in. I didn't call back right away. But I did send a message the next morning. Thanks. If you want to drop some off, we'll be home after 4. They came. Just the two of them. No folder. No tension. Just soup in a plastic container, and a shy bag of groceries my mom said were extras from the pantry, even though I knew she bought them for us. The kids squealed like it was a parade. My son gave my dad a drawing of a dinosaur. My daughter hugged Mom without hesitation. They stayed 25 minutes. Didn't overstay. Didn't pry. When they left, Mom said, "Thanks for letting us come." Not, "It was good to see you." Not, "Let's do this again." "Thanks for letting us come." That language mattered. It said, "You get to decide who walks through your door." And for the first time, it felt like they understood that. Later, my daughter asked, "Are we family again?" I thought about it. Not the performance of family. Not the photos or posts or parties. The real stuff. The soup. The silence respected. The no. Honored without a guilt trip. "Yes," I said finally. "We are." Then she grinned. "Can I make another crown?" "Only if I get one too." She made me one out of brown paper and wrote Dad in glitter across the front. "It's crooked. It's perfect." The next test didn't come from my parents. It came from me. It started with a phone call from a producer I hadn't heard from in over a year. Big name, slick voice, always 3 steps ahead of everyone else in the room. The kind of guy who treats writers like vending machines. Shake him hard enough, and maybe something good falls out. "Don," he said, "I've got something juicy. Real family drama. Think Succession but for middle-class resentment. You'd be perfect." I laughed. "You're not wrong. Then he said the magic words. It's basically your life, right? That whole thing with your family. I mean, it's all over Reddit. Twitter. People love it. We make it fictional, of course. Change names. Punch it up a little. I froze. He kept going. I've got buyers waiting. Pitch it next week, you'll be staffed by Monday. I looked over at the fridge, the crowns, the list, the taped-up glitter glue tube now half empty but still standing. I'll think about it, I said. But I already knew the answer. That night, after the kids were asleep, I opened my notes app and stared at a blank screen. What would I even write? A drama about betrayal and fake signatures? A comedy of errors and Venmo receipts? A courtroom scene with family stakes? Or maybe, a quiet little story about healing that didn't need a third-act twist. I typed one line. Some stories don't need to be sold. Some just need to be lived. Then I closed the app. The following Saturday, we got invited to a barbecue. Not a family one, a school thing. Community. Parents. Kids. Someone brought a bouncy castle that leaned slightly left but still stood. There were burned hot dogs, water balloons, the chaotic energy of a PTA meeting disguised as fun. I was chatting with another dad about kid-safe glue when my phone buzzed. Mark. One line. Mom wants to invite you to her birthday. No pressure. I stared at it for a full minute. It wasn't the invite that mattered. It was the words. No pressure. Old language, you have to come. It's family. New language, if you want to come, we'd like that. I texted back. Let me ask the kids. Because they matter now. Not just as accessories to my choices, but as participants. At bedtime, I asked. My daughter said, will there be crowns? My son asked, can we bring glitter? I smiled. Only if Grandma's okay with glitter now. She'll learn. My daughter said with complete confidence. So we said yes. With conditions. I texted Mom. We'll come. But we bring who we are. Loud, messy, sparkly. No edits. She replied. Wouldn't have it any other way. I didn't believe that 100%, but I believed it enough to try. At the party, something shifted. No one brought up the Facebook post. No one joked about me being the writer. No one said troublemaker, like it was a brand name. Instead, Mark handed me a soda and asked if I still liked weird indie films. Dad asked if I could show him how to scan documents the right way this time. Mom pulled my daughter aside and helped her make a crown out of aluminum foil and a stray napkin. Later, while my son was chasing a balloon across the lawn, Mom sat beside me. You really meant it, huh? She said. Meant what? All of it. The boundaries. The money. The space. I nodded. I still mean it. She sighed, not in exasperation, but in acceptance. I didn't know how to love you without controlling you, she said quietly. I think I thought it was the same thing. I didn't reply. Because what do you say to that? She looked out across the yard. But I'm learning. You're teaching me. Even if it's the hard way. I looked at her, this woman who once signed my name without asking and now asked for a second opinion before planning a birthday guest list. You're learning, I agreed. And I'm unlearning. She laughed softly. We're quite the pair. Then she nudged me. Next year, you throw the party. I smiled. Only if there's glitter. Oh God, she groaned. Fine. Glitter. Just warn me first. That night, as we drove home, the kids fell asleep in the back seat, crowns askew, frosting on their cheeks. I looked at them in the rearview mirror. My people. My real family. And I realized I hadn't felt this kind of peace in years. Not the peace of silence. Not the peace of surrender. The peace of alignment. Me, finally living by the script I wrote for myself. And this time? There were no edits. It's been 3 months. The crowns are still on the fridge, faded, taped up like tiny monuments to the day I stopped apologizing for existing out loud. The list beneath them has a new line added in my daughter's handwriting. We are allowed to sparkle. Mark still paying. Quiet, steady, no fanfare. Last Friday he wrote. Week 12. Still unlearning. Mom sends texts now like she's feeling the shape of a new language. One just said, thinking of you? No ask. Just that. And Dad? He mailed me a letter. On paper. A real stamp. Inside, a single check for the exact amount I'd sent 3 years ago to cover their property taxes. In the memo line, first installment. With love. I framed it. Not to cash. To remember. Not everything needs revenge. Not every story needs a big confrontation. Sometimes the victory is quiet. Sometimes the revolution is glitter and paper and a word like, no, said gently, then repeated until it sticks. I'm not the family bank. Or the fixer. Or the sponge. I'm a dad. A man. A writer. I make crowns now. And I don't wait for invitations. I open the door when I'm ready, and only to the people who remember who I am. Not who I was when I stayed quiet. But who I became when I stopped. My name is Don. And no one edits me anymore.